like Rapunzel. Sammy calls Leila, keeps calling her, but she can't hear him. She doesn't answer. She doesn't give him her hair from the tower. So the solution she found is to make her hair, write a letter with her hair. So I don't know if you can see here. So she wrote a letter. She wrote a letter with her hair. She wrote, "I am here," and this is how he realized that she wants him. She wants to connect with him, and he grabs her hair. So that's why I designed the hair to look like Arabic calligraphy. And here for me is going to be the fun and interesting part when it comes to translation. How we're going to write "I am here" in English in a way that looks like Arabic calligraphy. And I found that, I don't find that challenge, I found it fun. I found the way those two cultures can connect and influence each other. I mean, I can imagine how the illustration can be, and it's beautiful. I don't find it as a challenge as much as it's a way of interest. I mean, also one of the things that I really want to focus in the book is, I know it's a Rapunzel story, but as I mentioned, I'm so passionate about my identity, and I'm so passionate about the scenery that I'm around in Damascus and the old city. So you can see Leila wearing a Syrian traditional dress, her hair looks like Arabic calligraphy, and every decoration in the book, every detail, just comes from where I am. So you can find the roses, you can find the wall in the room. I illustrated these inspired by the Damascene tiles that usually decorate old houses in the city. And for me, these kind of little details and little sceneries really inspire and enrich children from other cultures. I mean, why do we want to keep children only see sceneries from our own environment? I think this is a chance for children to see other sceneries and other tales, and tales coming from abroad the world. So even if it's Rapunzel, but this time this is a Syrian Rapunzel, and she doesn't hear, and she wears a traditional Syrian dress. So that's the differences here. And again, I don't find it challenges. I just find it the fun part or the interesting part when it comes to translating a children's book.
Challenge of translating the book The 12 Birds is one that I actually didn't have to face, because it would be, how do you take the Braille illustrations, which are the Korean Braille, and to then put them into the Braille that is used here, and to still have that work with the same illustrations? Would the illustrations themselves need to be translated? Would they need to be adapted? But part of that is a challenge that would be applicable to a lot of other Korean picture books as well. Not necessarily ones that were particularly accessible, because like Nadine's book there, using the Arabic calligraphy as part of the illustration, the Korean alphabet is much more frequently used within the illustrations. It has more of a pictorial quality, although it's not actually, for those of you who don't know, it's not ideograms like in Chinese or Japanese, it's a phonetic alphabet. But it was also designed originally to mimic the shape that your mouth makes when you pronounce those sounds. And so the visual quality of that is much more frequently exploited in picture books than it would be in books that are written in English. It's very infrequently when you get just text and there's the picture separately. So you're having to translate the text always as part of the picture. And then, so the other sort of main challenge, again, that I found with the book The 12 Birds is a challenge that I'd come across in adult literary fiction from Korean as well, but that was sort of turbocharged in this because it was onomatopoeia, which is much more frequently used in Korean, again, than in English, and also there are many more different specific onomatopoeic words and mimetic words in Korean than there are in English. So for each of the 12 birds, they had a distinct onomatopoeic sound for their cry. And I used a few different strategies actually for translating that. Some of them, if there was a specific correlation in the English, for example, an owl. In English, we usually think of an owl going turu. So I had my owl going turu as well. But then again, in English, we have that very specific onomatopoeia only for a couple of birds. You know, cuckoo, and owls, turu, but all the other kinds of birds are just birds. And also there were some birds in this book which are not native to the UK, so we have no idea of writing what they might sound like. And in fact, I had no idea of what they would sound like. So I spent probably as much time as I did translating, trying to find sound files on the internet of these bird calls, and just listening to them over and over again, and then thinking, how would you possibly write that down? Which was very, very difficult.